The Kia Hyundai channel, welcome to our live video series. Today we're going to take a close look and our first look at the Hyundai Santa Fe PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So we're going to talk about what that is, why this one's unique, and we're going to go through this vehicle in detail. And if you've just tuned in for this one, we've also just taken a look at the Kia Sorento PHEV in about a week or so ago. So we've got a lot of new content to compare. We got a lot of quality here. For what you want to know. Sorry, I'm reading a comment that said quality. That's where that word came from. Anyway, so what we're going to do, if you just joined us for the very first time and you're not live with us, you can skip ahead if you want to the 3-minute mark, which is where we start with the content. In the meantime, we're going to talk about some news, some notes. We're also going to show you how to join us live if you'd like, and we'll move on from there. So let's just jump ahead here. So he says, remind me to get the teddy bear. We've got the teddy bear over here. There he is right there. And we're going to show you how to join us live. So here's our YouTube page. If you just go to that page exactly at 2 o'clock on a weekday and you refresh the page exactly at that time, you will see that this main page kind of changes over and the live video will be right there for you. So we're going to click into that. As we click into that, you're going to have to watch an ad. While you watch an ad, I'm going to skip that ad. Oops, going to flip this back around to me. All right, let me just skip that ad. There we go. And I'm going to mute my computer there. There we go. Really quickly, I got to run an ad myself. If you are in Ontario and looking to buy a vehicle, you can connect with me after this video. There'll be a link in the description. It'll show you how to connect with me. And we represent 3 different dealers: Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, and Owen Sound Hyundai. So if you want to buy a car from us in Ontario, we can help you out. We can be your local dealer. We can even ship your car right to you. We'll truck it to you. We can be your local dealer. So there we go. Those of you that are regulars with us, we are behind in likes, so if you want to hit the like button if you're a regular, that'd be great. If you are not a regular with us, I'm fully willing to earn that like, so we'll do that as well. We've got 1 minute to go. A couple of you have noticed that I have a little bit of a dry throat lately. I am perfectly healthy. I have passed all the tests for that thing that we're, if we mention on social media, you get this extra disclaimer, so I don't want to do that, but it's not that. I'm totally fine. I was not feeling great last week. I've been tested for everything that I need to be tested for. We're good. So I've had a couple emails saying, are you okay? I'm totally fine. Just when I talk, sometimes I'm going to have a little drink. And that's just this week. All right. So what else is going on in the Kia Hyundai world? Kia Forte, 2022 model. I don't know if it'll be called the K3. I haven't heard any information. I'm thinking it might be called the Forte now. So I might have been wrong on that. But we should have that information soon. Obviously, EV6, Ionic 5. Somebody says, paint the wall. Tomorrow, we are supposed to have this wall done up. So this commenter has asked for the wall to be painted for a while. So have I. We're going to have it done up hopefully as early as tomorrow. So that'll be done up there. And meantime, looks like our time is up. We're going to go to the LA Auto Show as well. So that's news for us. We'll cover stuff there. All right, 3 minutes in. Hey, everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Welcome to our live video series. This is the Santa Fe Luxury PHEV. So we're going to talk about what that is, go in depth, and we're going to do that right now. All right. Flip this around. Really quickly, I want to throw the keys in my pocket, so we're going to show you the key first. It is wrapped in plastic. That's how they come from the factory, but you get a sense of what it looks like there. Hold button there is a powered tailgate, so we'll show you that later. Hold button here is remote start. So even on a PHEV, which is something they didn't used to do, used to be those eco-friendly vehicles, they didn't put a remote start on them, but they do have remote start. So really what you're looking at is a vehicle that is very competitive with a normal vehicle, a normal gasoline vehicle. So we're going to talk about what this is, but before we go too far, let me show you what the fuel mileage is. So here we go. This is what I've been waiting for a long time. 3.1 liters per 100 kilometers equivalent. That is kind of reasonable to see what you're going to get in this vehicle driving around town. The Kia Sorento we've had for a week and a half. I think we're sitting around the 3 or 4 liters per 100 kilometers overall. But you guys have been asking me, what does this car get in once the plugged-in range is gone and it's 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers? And I really want to talk about that really quickly because all PHEVs are not the same. And yes, I'm looking at you, Jeep. Number one selling PHEV in the United States right now, Jeep Wrangler 4xe. I'm a big Wrangler fan. Here's the difference. The Jeep Wrangler has a 4-cylinder engine that you can get with the PHEV or without. Once you run out of your plugged-in range on a Jeep Wrangler 4xe, then you are better off to have bought the non-PHEV because that gets better mileage than the PHEV. That's where Kia and Hyundai are different. You can see that 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers. This vehicle turns into a full hybrid and a real true hybrid that actually gets you real mileage. So 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers is when you're fully depleted of your plugged-in range, and we'll talk about how this works in a second, you still get hybrid mileage, 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers. It's right there on the sticker, so you don't have to challenge me on it. That's what it says. So really quickly, what is a plug-in hybrid? Gasoline engine, drives like a normal car. Fill it with gas, you can drive it across the country. When you don't plug this car in, you're still gonna use some electric motors and some battery power to, you know, accelerate and brake and do all kinds of things to get you great fuel efficiency. When you do plug it in, it's gonna get in and around 50, oh, I forgot to check, is it 52 on this one, 49? Right at around 50 kilometers of pure electric range. What that means is that it's capable of being plugged in, and I'll show you right here. I don't know if I can open this one right now. This side will be your gas door. We've seen that. Let me just open it up. All right, so unlock the car fully. There we go. See if I can get in here now. Oh boy, can't get in there. That is your gas door. This one over here on the other side, so in other words, if you see oh boy, what do we have? There we go. If you see a Santa Fe with a gas door on the passenger side, this is your electric plug. You just plug it in there, super simple. You can see I cleaned it out, even with the water in there, no concerns. So there we go. So pretty cool system where you just plug it in when you get home at night. If you plug it into a regular plug, like this one right here, it will charge overnight-ish. I don't actually have a spec yet on that. I would assume in the 8-ish, 7-ish, 8-ish hours for a regular plug. If you decide to go for a level 2 charger, well, then you're down to 4 hours of recharge time. So a level 2 charger does cost a little extra, but if you're someone who goes out a lot and you want to do most of your driving on pure electric and you do a lot of shorter trips, then this is great. Now, this is not reserved for only short trips. What you can do with this vehicle as well is go long trips, and again, that's where that 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers comes in. It can drive all the time on pure electric. When I say all the time, you could be driving around 80 kilometer an hour road, 60 kilometer an hour road, and all of a sudden it switches over to pure electric while it's doing things. So it can blend that gas and electricity at any time, but most of the time when you're plugged in, it is pure electric. So that's kind of how this works. Let's take a look inside and talk about what. There's a button for the gas door to the left of the steering wheel. Is there really? I thought I could just push it. Let me just try that again. I think I pushed it on the wrong spot. Oh yeah, look at that. Button for the gas door. There we go. So that one has a button, and it is open. And no, it's not. There we go. There we go. So there's your gas door on this side there. Again, just got this vehicle the very first time, and I rarely fill these vehicles with gas. So it's one of the weird things working in a dealership. The one thing I don't know is where the gas door buttons are, because on the Kia versions where I work, and sometimes do have to fill, the Kia dealer where I work, they have this push on the door. All right, let's take a look inside this one. This is the luxury model. This one happens to be brown interior. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't remember the name of the color on this. White cream is the outside, but the inside is a brown color. Now, I will say right off the bat, what I'm seeing with my own eyes and what I'm seeing on this camera is a little different color. Gabby, who works with me here, is sort of my fashion person, and she loves the inside of this car. So if you like or don't like this, don't fully judge it based on the color that you're seeing, because obviously the camera doesn't reproduce it perfectly. Here we have probably the best seats in all of Hyundai-dom. Hyundai-dom, it's like the kingdom of Hyundai. You have the powered seat here. You have the 4-way lumbar, not just the 2-way lumbar. And then this piece out here extends that piece right there, or brings it in. So if you are a taller person, you can bring that all the way out. It goes out further. Actually, we'll just wait for a second to show you all the way out. There it is, all the way out. And that really extends the seat, and it can come in a lot further than what I brought it in. And if you're a tall person, that's pretty comfortable. And then, of course, when I say the best seats, you also want memory seats, and this car has that as well. Let's jump in here for a second. The key is in my pocket. Whoops, hit the camera on the steering wheel there. One thing I really like is in this luxury model, you do have the full digital dash here, and I like what Hyundai's doing with their digital dash lately. They just do a lot of nice things, which are pretty smart. So very quickly, what are we looking at? Obviously, whoops, there we go. Obviously, we have a speedometer left. I've used some of the electric range, so we have 25 kilometers of range left. How much range have I used? Well, almost half, part of half, I don't know. 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers is what we're getting. Ignore some of that because this car has been idling in the hybrid mode and other modes as we demonstrated to a few people. So again, we've seen these cars drive around at 3 and 4 liters per 100 kilometers. We know those 7 liters per 100 kilometers is certainly capable when it's pure electric. But you do get a sense. Now, I will say there's one thing that's coming out. The Hyundai specs right now do say that this has a 67-liter fuel tank, as did our Kia specs on the Kia Sorento. The Kia specs have been corrected to 47 liters per 100 kilometers, or 47-liter fuel tank. I am 100% certain this will also be listed as 47-liter fuel tank soon. Currently, my specs say 67, and the reason I say that is just doing some basic math. That's not going to be 67 liters of fuel in there. But, you know, we can look at that later. I could be wrong, but I do expect that to be changed to 47-liter tank, which is a little bit smaller, but more than enough for the mileage this car gets. Now, over here on this gauge here, what you have is your vehicle is currently off. The engine is off. When it's running, that kind of thing, you're going to drive, and this gauge here will go across the eco mode here. That line is a line you want to pay attention to, because you can get on the highway in this full eco zone. If you need extra power, the gauge will go past that eco into that power, and to get full power on this vehicle, it will start the gasoline engine. So even if you're in full EV mode. Most of the EV mode you can drive around without, like I said, you can get on the highway, get off the highway, you can accelerate past people, you can do all that without full power. But if you were to floor it or really get into the gas or throttle pedal, depending on what you want to call it, you can tell when it'll switch over in pure EV mode. So in pure EV mode, it'll still run the gasoline engine if you need it to for full power. While we're here, let's just show you the drive and EV modes here. We can fully start this car up. Okay, fully started up, ready to drive. That's how you know you're ready to drive. It tells you on the right side there. Now, as I switch through drive modes, it's going to start the engine. We're going to have to turn the car off because we are indoors. But there we go. Of automatic mode, which is kind of a hybrid-ish mode. Then there's full hybrid mode. And then there's electric mode. So again, all of these technically can run the gasoline engine. Most of the time, you're going to want to try to drive in electric mode because it's going to use those 25 remaining kilometers of electric. Although I just want to be clear that if you really get into it, it's going to be capable of using that gasoline engine to give you full power. So again, a lot of information that you see here normally in all of the other Hyundai vehicles. There's your all-wheel drive graph as well. So these bar graphs will fill in to show you exactly what your all-wheel drive system is doing. And that's pretty cool because drive modes alone, I think the eco mode, the smart mode here. Oh, it's got an eco mode as well. So eco and smart, the all-wheel drive system is different. Something like the smart or eco mode, it's 80-20 is the standard split, and it can switch up to 65-35. That's front to rear. The sport mode will go full 50-50 and minimum 65-35. So there are different drive modes that will change that four-wheel drive bar graph. And this is not an electric all-wheel drive. So it's not just electric driving the rear motors. It is a full integrated system, which is very, very good. And in over here is, like I said, there's a couple of different drive modes. So you got the EV and hybrid modes. So you can switch. That's what I was switching with when I showed you those gauges on the bottom, or that difference between the electric mode, automatic mode, and hybrid mode there. And then, of course, you have these drive modes. If I leave it in sport mode, the engine will right away start. But we're going to go right past sport mode to smart mode. So 3 drive modes there. And then, of course, we're Canadian. We get the terrain modes of snow, mud, and sand as well. All these things optimize the all-wheel drive system, but also things like the stability control and those kinds of things. So very good system there. Of course, when you switch the, let me just show you through here. When we switch the systems here, you can have the gauges change. Come on, focus in a little bit. Oh, it's hard to get the color to focus there, but there's our snow mode, mud mode, other modes. So you can see them changing there. And of course, we'll go back to the regular drive mode. So little changes in the gauges there as well. Lots of customization. Now, an interesting decision here is on the luxury model, they stay with this 8-inch screen, not the 10.25-inch screen. So this is the big debate right now in Kia Hyundai world right now, because the 8-inch screen comes standard with wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. So you get some nice features. The 10.25-inch screen, of course, has factory navigation in most of those things. So little differences there. And of course, when I throw this car in reverse for a second, you have the standard backup camera, not the 360, which I think is just fine. But again, wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. You can watch how your EV system or plug-in hybrid system works here. Energy information here. We can look at it all. So let's just see. Charge times. If we have a normal charge station, what are we, AC portable or AC station? So I think what we're saying is, when it says portable, that kind of throws me off, but this I believe is the level 1 charge. Would be 5 hours till full and 2 hours till full on the regular level 2 charger. And of course, you can see the battery is 62% right now, which is 25 per kilometers. This will range a little bit in there. Somebody says, do you get a wireless charge pad in here? And I believe you do. Let me just say, I believe this is the one vehicle that you do get a wireless charge pad. It is right in there. There is the symbol in there, so you're going to lay your phone leaning towards the driver's side. You can actually see a little trap door on the bottom here. Let me see if I can focus on that. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I'm pushing that trap door. Drop your phone in there. It'll hold it in there. So you do have a wireless charge pad on this PHEV in the luxury model? That's a great question. So wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless charging for your phone. It's kind of the combination that I think everything should have if you're going to have wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. So good question there. But yeah, charge times, you guys have asked me again. I don't have the spec for the level 1 charger, but you can see it's about 5 hours for the last 40%. I do think it's not much more than about 8 hours for the whole thing. That's just my guess, but we'll see what the spec is when it comes out for us. Moving down here, you've got an automatic climate control system, pretty simple to use. One thing to keep in mind with the PHEVs is when you are in the winter, expect the gasoline engine to run. You get people, and I'm the same way, that are in the mindset of this should run on full EV all the time. And that's not the case. You have a gasoline engine with a lot of moving parts that needs to be maintained. When this vehicle senses it should be turned on, it will turn the gasoline engine on. So in the winter, to create heat, at least some of your heat is going to be created through that gasoline engine. Once the engine's warm, you can find that when the coolant temperature is warm, for instance, it can sometimes still blow some heat without the gasoline engine running. Somebody tried to challenge me on that. I've driven these cars. I can tell you, you can still get some heat when the engine is off, but primarily your heat is generated through the engine, and you want that engine warm, because even if you're in full EV mode, if for some reason you have to give it gas, give it the throttle, it will switch to the gasoline engine. And you don't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden you're giving it full throttle to do something and the engine is ice cold and has not been started yet. So it will run it occasionally more in the winter. You're still going to get hybrid mileage. This is not the competitive systems where you're just going to get terrible mileage overall. You're still going to get hybrid mileage in the winter. So don't worry too much when the gasoline engine's running or not. It will work that way every now and then just fine. Down here, I should point out USB port. There's your wireless charging sort of indicator light for this area back here. Deep cup holder, shallower cup holder, and of course, a little bit of a pocket down there for a pretty good size, actually, pocket down here. Oh, you have this little tray up here as well that should be in there. So upper and lower storage there. And again, heated and ventilated seats. I don't know if I pointed that ventilation seats out here. So again, turn on the ventilated seats here, and you can have the air blow through the seats, through the perforations in the seats that you can see right over there, if we can focus on it. And then, of course, heated seats as well over here. Heated seats are not something I need right now, so we'll do that right there. And so there we go. So you've got push-button gear shifts here, and, of course, in the Hyundai, you've got that extra space down there. So a lot of space down there, 12-volt port. I think there's a USB port on the other side. I just can't see it quite right now. Coming through some safety equipment, you're getting a fully loaded vehicle here. So smart cruise control with the lane follow assist, which is more than just the lane keeping assist. And what I really like about that system is if you are driving in traffic, the smart cruise control can keep the distance between the vehicle in front of you and yourself, and the lane follow assist helps you keep centered in the lane. And what that means is you stay very comfortably on the road. And I use the smart cruise control primarily in traffic. When you're doing that in traffic, these EV style vehicles are really good because they just have that smooth electric power to pull you forward and back when you let the car sort of do its thing itself. Now, I want to be clear. Some people have challenged me on this as well. The car does not fully self-drive, but you can allow it in smart cruise control to accelerate and brake on its own. You can allow it to steer for itself, keeping it centered in lane. You have to keep your hands on the wheel. So I want to be just clear. You are responsible for what your car does. But it will do things for you. It will accelerate, it will brake, it will steer, and it will do all those things simultaneously. So the feeling that the car drives itself is an accurate statement. However, you are responsible for the way it drives, whether it's driving itself or not. One thing I should point out, panoramic roof, 2 huge glass panels. Let's just go back again here. Again, big panel. So camera's not moving everywhere I need to go, but yeah, big panel there. And looks like I got a little USB light on back there. I'll turn that off over there. So we'll turn that off when we get to the back seat. What we're going to do now is take your questions. We're a little low on likes today. We got 61 people on. Usually we're well beyond 29 likes. So we're going to go right for the 60 likes. I'm going to go take your questions right now. Then we're going to come back into here. We're going to show you rear seat space. I want to talk about rear seat and trunk space. There's a couple differences between here and the Sorento. And I want to talk about some of the lighting and those kind of things. So lots to still come here. Let's just take your questions. And again, if you've never joined us before, we stay on topic for about 30 minutes. And then beyond that, we'll answer your questions if we need to, or go off topic if we need to. So feel free to ask your questions, whether you're live or not, because I will answer your questions and comments in this video. All right, let's just walk by the motion sensor light over here. There we go. Okay, and we'll let you take a look at the vehicle one more time here while I get set up here. Having some Wi-Fi issues, so I've got my phone here on the data network that's not in the building, and I just want to make sure I've got what I need. Okay, let's set this down. We'll come back onto me. All right, so let's take your questions now. Is there a lamp in the glove box? That's a good thing. I've never looked in there. I don't think there is on this one, but we can check. Do they make the Tucson in a plug-in hybrid? Yes, I just haven't seen it yet. So the first ones we've seen Kia Hyundai World is the Kia Sorento first, which was about a week or so ago. The Santa Fe has shown up now. The PHEV will be coming to the Tucson, and we know that the next generation Kia Sportage will be coming out in January-ish, maybe March-ish, we'll have a hybrid, and then probably summer-ish, we'll have a PHEV there. So a lot of PHEVs coming to the Kia Hyundai lineup on there. Okay, no on the partial open sunroof shade, tested at dealership. Oh, can the sunroof shade open up partially? Yes, it can, 100% it can. Yeah, so let's just, somebody says no and someone says it can't. So let me just show you that actually right now. We'll turn the vehicle fully on here, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do here. So, start the car, partial shade. So then this is the same button does the whole sunroof or just the shade. So I'm just gonna touch it gently, and if I wanted to stop it, I could stop it right there. So there's the shade where it's only over the back. If I want to move it forward again, backwards all the way, forward all the way. So it can absolutely stop. You just have to touch it where you want it to stop. And when it's closed, you'd have no idea there's a panoramic roof at all. So if you want to stop it again, there you go. I can stop it anywhere I want. So just want to make sure that we're correct in the comments. Someone said it couldn't be done. Someone said it could be done. I win. It can be done. So good question there, and I'm glad we could show it to you. And it's just about touching the button there. Okay, let's keep going through some of these questions here. And any problems charging a PHEV in the winter outside in the cold? No, I charge my electric vehicle in the cold. I have technically a garage that I put mine in. You could do it outside. There are outdoor charging stations across North America, across the world. Who leads the world in EVs? Norway. Outside chargers all the time over there. So no issues in charging them. Technically, it's possible that the battery will charge a tiny bit slower in the cold, and you will get a little bit less range out of that battery in the coldest weather as well. So no issues charging in rain and cold and other things. Very simple charge. What is the cost on a full charge? There are better people than me to do this. It is much, much less expensive to run on electric only than it is to run on gasoline. So how long will the battery stay active? If you're asking what is the life of the battery, first of all, the batteries are warranted longer than the actual vehicle. Here in Canada, that's where we film. So what happens is nobody ever asks me on a gasoline vehicle, how long will the transmission last? Because we know that the transmission is designed to last the length of the car nowadays. Is it possible that it doesn't? Sure it is. Same thing with the batteries. The battery's designed to last the length of the vehicle. I would say that most of the time, from my experience, first of all, hybrids as a class are among the most reliable vehicles in the automotive industry. And I would say that the issues I've seen with the very high mileage hybrids and other things in the past are engine issues. The engine gives out before the battery does. So that's the history that I've seen. I think you'll find that to be quite accurate. I don't think battery longevity is as much of a issue as some people want to think it will be. I know that your cell phone is good for 2 years and then you start losing battery life there. Cars don't work like that. It's a very different thing. What is the delay to receive one? That's something you have to take up with your dealer. It's very difficult to predict. If you drive by any dealer in your local city, town, wherever you are, you're going to see short inventory, and that's just the reality. They are starting to bring these in volume, but how quickly you'll get them, it's just tough for me to predict right here on video. How much charge does the vehicle get when running only? Can it charge fully? So that's a good question. I got asked in an email, will these vehicles charge without plugging in? Can you charge them by just driving them? If you put it in sport mode, it will run the engine to charge the battery. You're not going to do that though, and I'll tell you why. Why do you want to do that? You want to do that because you want to save fuel, right? Running it in sport mode is going to use more fuel than it would cost to plug it in or just let it run a regular hybrid. Keep in mind, this vehicle, when you're driving, even with a fully depleted plugged-in battery, still has some battery reserve that it comes on and off. You will still find yourself cruising for hundreds of meters at a time. On pure electric, you'll still have electric assist. So it doesn't make sense to try to charge it intentionally through that sport mode because for what you're going to get to add in that power, it's just not going to be worth the fuel use. And again, as a regular hybrid, you're still getting some of that electric only range anyways. You can find yourself creeping through a campground with no electric range and going, you know, quite a distance, slow speeds on pure electric, even with no plugged-in power. So if that makes sense, there you go. Also, when we talk about creeping through a campground, tow's 2,000 pounds. So I know I'm gonna get asked that question at some point. I wanna make sure I state that on video. Is the battery in either the hybrid or PHEV one whole battery or many small ones linked together? Good question. It's always many cells linked together. So it's never like one whole battery, but it is many cells linked together. On this vehicle, I haven't seen underneath this Santa Fe, but I have seen underneath this Sorento, which shares the powertrain on the PHEV. And in this one here, I believe it's the exact same. The batteries are actually on either side of the vehicle. There's in the center of the vehicle, from the wheel down to the wheel, there's a drive shaft and an exhaust, and the batteries on either side. So they're electrically connected, but it looks to me like there's two battery banks in there. I'm not an expert, but that's what I see when I look underneath the vehicle. Now, whether some of that is controller or other things, that's what I'm seeing. Okay. Thanks for towing info. There we go. Is the Tucson larger than this? Technically, the Tucson is smaller, but it is pretty well packaged. Could be a larger trunk. Is there a regular outlet to plug the car into? Yeah, so we'll talk about plugging the car in a second. You can plug it into the wall just like you plug your cell phone in, same plug, or you can get a level 2 charger. For me, I don't know that for a lot of people it's worth it to buy the level 2 charger when you can just plug it in overnight in your garage or wherever it is to a regular plug. That'll cost you less. It'll take a little longer to charge. If you're going in and out a lot through the day and you really want to maximize your electricity usage on the vehicle, then it may make sense to get a charger. If it was an EV, obviously, I do recommend the charger. Even though I run my EV, I have for 2 years on purely plugging it in the wall, having the very slow charge. So it's definitely possible. Okay. Oh, they're doing some work over there on the other side of my wall, so sorry about that. Is that carbon fiber on the door panel? It is not carbon fiber, but it is certainly carbon fiber look. I apologize for the noise, guys. We've got some work being done on the room here that I wasn't sure was going to happen right now. Carbon fiber on the door panel is what you're asking about. This is a carbon fiber look, but not actual real carbon fiber. So it's a plastic panel. All right, let's just show you the trunk. We're going to keep moving on. Try to get your questions in a second. 120. Oh, is there an outlet for a laptop? I believe there is in this car. I'll have to double check. Charging, let's just see what we've got in the Hyundai bag here. It's probably all wrapped up. I haven't opened it yet, but this will be your level 1 charger. All right, open it up, and that's what it looks like. There's your level 1 charger. So when I say you can plug it in the wall like a cell phone, there's your 3-prong plug. There's your little display. This is a display, tells you what's going on. Plug that into the side. This is a standard Kia Hyundai Charger. Somebody asked how long it is. I think it's 15 or 20 feet. I haven't measured it yet, and it doesn't tell me there. So I do apologize for that. I'll have to measure mine out and figure it out. But there is that. And one thing that you're going to see here when we talk about trunk space, I'm going to do this back up because it's not my vehicle. If you want to take your charger along with you, which is what this is designed to do, that is Velcroed to the bottom. So it's going to sit firm there. Underneath here, no underfloor storage. You have a 12-volt battery that you would have like a regular car. It's back here in this car, underneath that panel there. And again, in the Sorento, 2 captain's chairs, 2 seats in the back. In this vehicle, you have a tremendous amount of underfloor storage right here, which you can see there, but no seats back here. So you can put 3 people on the bench. They can recline. We're going to jump in there in a second, but while we've got the trunk open, we're going to show you our teddy bear test. This is my buddy, the teddy bear. We put him in the back of all sorts of vehicles just to see how much room he's got. Now, he's on top of the Charger there, so you got to bear with him there, but you can see he's really good for width there. A lot of length in there as well. So good sized trunk in this car. However, again, no rear seats, no third row seats in this vehicle. That may be a pro, that may be a con. There we go. Can you get an adapter for the 220 volt to make it work faster? That's a good question. Short answer is no. You need a level 2 charger to make it charge faster. You can adapt anything you want, but level 2 charger, which is the one like you see on the wall here, there are a lot of different styles, but that's one. Oh boy, they're really working on that roof. Level 2 charger is what I recommend for faster charging. Like I said, there's lots of versions there. And then a level 1 charger is what I just showed you in the back of the trunk here. Faster charging is not going to work. The level 1 charger has a limit to how fast it can charge. All right, rear seats here, really nice. Again, I like this brown leather. And again, it is not showing accurately color reproduction on my camera, so it won't show accurately on your screen. If it doesn't show on my screen, then it's not showing your screen. But it looks quite nice. 3 across here, you can see the 1 seat is reclined. What I kind of like here is what they do up top here. This luxury model has this sort of quilted look, and that kind of echoes itself in the speaker grills, which I think is pretty cool as well. Just kind of a detailed thing there. I really like these little sun visors that are built into the car. You can see it's super simple to do if I can just do it right. There we go. Put that up there, and the camera kind of corrects for how well that gives shade. So you can see a full light here. It is a tinted window, but that gives a nice sort of tint or a little bit of privacy there in the window, maybe a little sun protection for if you got younger kids. Again, you can fold these seats down pretty much flat. You've got the pockets right here, plastic back seat which wipes down easily, 2 USB ports in the center there, and some vents, 1 for each side. And of course, the big thing back here is you've got that panoramic roof, which, if you can see me over here, is very, it's very good. It's right above me. So the feeling of light in here, the feeling of sort of being in the world and not cramped in a car is very good with these panoramic roofs. I'm going to turn this little LED light that we talked about earlier. It is a white LED light on here. I'm going to turn that off. And of course, those open up. Those white LED lights make it look really rich in here in the daylight. Overall, seat space back here, very good. You can see my legs are flat on the seats. You can see I'm very comfortable. Santa Fe's just got big seats. I'm not a big guy, but if you're a bigger person, even a smaller person, it's got large, comfortable seats. And I think that's the one advantage with the Tucson. They're not small seats by any sense, but I think if you're a really large person, the Santa Fe to me feels like it has a little bit larger seats. And you'll notice that the size between a Santa Fe and a Tucson is very similar nowadays. Try them both, absolutely. But my guess is if you're a little bit larger than me, the Santa Fe potentially may have a little bit better seats. But both are excellent to me, to my size. So depending on your size, seats can be a very personal thing. So again, tons of legroom, tons of knee room. I'm sitting behind myself here, and to be honest, this seat can move further forward than it is because I had it back a little bit to film, but I could drive from where it is. So very good front seat, very good back seat. We are almost 32 minutes in. We were still aiming for 60 likes. So if I've earned your like, and basically I'm gonna give you the half an hour, 40 minutes a day. If in that time you can do that 1 split-second like to me, that helps me out, but it also helps you guys out. If you guys want to see more videos like this, the more likes, the more subscriptions that we get during this video, the more comments that we get, all of those things drive this video to people like you who will watch it. My bosses see what's watched. We try to put up what you guys are looking for. And so that's kind of what goes on here. So it does help me. You guys know how YouTube works, but it also helps you guys send this to people that are interested in the same things you like. And remember, we're not a review channel. You want to see this vehicle back in here again and again and again, we'll do that. This is not a review channel. We do one video and we're done with it. We'll get it back in. Those wheel arches make it look like an off-roader. Yeah, you know what? I kind of like these sort of beefy kind of wheels. I don't know if everybody's gonna like them. And then again, this plasticky area here, it's just nice if you do go off-road and gravel, it's not gonna chip right there. Let's take a look at lighting really quickly, and then we'll go back to your questions because I do wanna show you lighting. So if you have a question, now's a great time to ask it. They do take us sometimes just a minute or so to come in. And there we go, vehicle's back on. You got the full lighting system on, and we'll take a look at that. And like I said, to ask your questions, feel free. We got 70 people on. It'd be really cool to hit 70 likes in the next little while, but you guys tell me if it's worth it or not. Can you charge it on a level 3 charger? That is a fantastic question. A level 3 charger actually has a larger plug. The current standard is a larger plug than what this vehicle comes with. So no, it is not capable of super fast charging, which I think is fair. You wouldn't want to, the battery would be charged in like 15, 20 minutes on that kind of thing. So yeah, only level 2 charger or standard plug, which is level 1 charger. Level 3 charging is reserved for EVs only at this point. So great question though. Okay, taking a look at the front here, you're gonna see some flickering of lights. Those mean that they're LEDs. It doesn't flicker in real life, it's just the way it interacts with the camera, and different types of LEDs will flicker different ways. So you can see there's kind of this sort of T-style thing just kind of blended in, and then you have your actual headlights down there. Those really bright lights are your actual headlights. LED headlights, really nice and sharp, so I really like that. That's what you wanna see on a modern vehicle. Pretty sharp cutoff as well. And the big thing with those LED headlights is you're gonna get that natural white color. This is not accurately reproducing those colors. For whatever reason, when I film on this wall, it looks a little bit more yellow on camera than it does in real life, but a very natural color, which makes it easier to identify what you see in the windshield. Are the asymmetric low beams? I believe so. I believe all cars have the right side up a little different. I'm not 100% sure if they're asymmetric or not. I thought all cars had the right side a little bit different. Not fully sure on that, to be very honest. So good question, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Back here, again, LED lighting. Again, color and intensity and clarity and precision are not showing up on camera. This looks like it's really bright here. It's kind of blended in here. There is some brightness there, but it's nowhere near like what it's looking there. There's just such a precision to this in real life that isn't accurately shown on camera, but very cool looking lighting in there. Just your taillights, of course, are up right there. And you can see it over here as well. Okay, why do they do that with the lights? I never understood that until you mentioned it. Oh, the blinking lights? Camera has essentially a refresh rate. I think I don't know what the YouTube app that I'm filming on, usually it films at 30 or 60 frames per second. LED lights actually have a flicker as well. So if they don't fully line up, it's kind of like watching wheels turn. If you watch automotive videos, the wheels turn and all of a sudden it looks like they're going backwards because the refresh rate doesn't quite match what the wheel's actually doing. Same idea with LED lights. They have a bit of a flicker in real life that your eye can't perceive, but the camera, if they don't line up flickers, then it shows as a flicker. So yeah, that's my understanding. Oh, the front one's off center. Oh, the reason the front are off center. So that's the difference. Asymmetric lights, the right side on a lot of cars shines right so you can see the street signs. Now what modern cars do often is they use these daytime running light type lights to give off that sort of non-focused light, that scattered light. And that scattered light allows you to see road signs. If you're driving down the highway with these LED lights and they have that sharp cutoff, the road signs above the road, you would not have any light on them whatsoever with a modern headlight. So these LED lights are often used at night to give you that ambient lighting around so you can see the stop sign that will sit above your actual headlights so that you can see the road signs that sit above. So good question about lighting. I'm not sure if they're asymmetric. I thought they were, but again, sometimes they use these daytime running lights as the sort of ambient lighting that does that. So I hope that makes sense to people. I'm full of useless knowledge and there's more of it for you. All right, just gonna go back. I know we're a little bit long on this one, so I am gonna take your questions if we have that. What do we got here? Thule branded roof bars. I'm not sure where the question was. Oh, are roof rails and crossbars available? Yes. So they technically aren't Thule branded, but they are renamed Thule. They are usually Hyundai branded, but they would be Thule accessories. So anything Thule will definitely fit. But obviously the big name manufacturers, Yakima, Thule, Thule, those would be the brands that would fit everything just stock, just perfect. Yeah, so they are available right from your dealer. And what else is there? Something's a real shame. They should have had the third row. Yeah, so you guys are saying this one should have third row option. Yeah, you know what? I don't know why they're not doing third row. I think what they're really trying to do is move you to the Palisade or the Telluride. Yeah, because they have an extra option. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't make these decisions. I hear you guys. Each one has its pros and cons. Is infotainment screen 10.25 inch? No, we mentioned that earlier that this one is the 8-inch screen. So 8-inch screen on this particular model here, not the 10.25 inch screen. So how does this car compare to the Tucson plug-in hybrid? So that's a good question. It's going to be a matter of tastes between vehicles. The Tucson plug-in hybrid I actually haven't driven myself yet. My understanding is it has the same powertrain as this. They are similar size, but I expect the Tucson to be a little bit lighter than this, a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. So it's going to be interesting to see which one you prefer. The dash and seats are different in the Tucson. You may have a preference for that over this. But those are two vehicles that if we can get them in stock at the same time, which in 2022 is very hard to do, but if we can, what I will do is try to get them on the same video. We'll try to get two at the same time. We'll figure it out and see which one you like. If not, I'll have videos of everything and you can compare between videos. So we'll do that as well. Okay. Someone said they saw 3 rows available in Europe, but not USA. We are in Canada, so I can only tell you what we have in front of us here in Canada. That's as accurate as I can be. Let me flip back around here. Is there any questions that I missed, guys? We're down, we lost a like. We're only down to, we're at 59 likes. We were aiming for 60, so we didn't lose one yet. All right. I should have had the regular 2.5 powertrain, unlike the RAV4 instead of this. No. I like the powertrain on this. The 1.6 turbo is an excellent powertrain. Not an IVT transmission. You have a 6-speed, I believe it's dual clutch, but 6-speed transmission on this one. Very nice driving vehicle. So some people think it should have different. I disagree. I think this is a really nice, 1.6 turbo on this one with the hybrid. What that does, though, the 1.6 turbo on its own has all of its torque at like 1,400 RPM, 1,1700 RPM, right up to about 4,000 RPM. So you've got a lot of torque through the gasoline engine as well only, down low. And of course, electric vehicle has a lot of torque down low. The torque from the electric vehicle alone is 224 pounds-feet of torque. So a lot of that torque available in the EV. Very good torque there. Total horsepower is 260 pounds. They actually don't give me total torque output. I think Kia does, but Hyundai doesn't. So there we go. All right, so we're going to leave it there, guys. We've gone 40 minutes. I think that's enough for now. If you want to know more, just keep asking more, keep liking these videos, subscribe during these videos if you've not subscribed already, and we'll do more videos like this. Obviously, we're going to continue with the Sorento PHEV. We're going to continue with this PHEV as well. A lot to talk about here. To be quite honest, this is the future. It makes far more sense to drive around something like this that in real world driving is going to get 3 and 4 liters per 100 kilometers for most people, because most of the time you're driving 50 kilometers or less. You might be full EV, but even if you're doing 100 kilometers a day or 80 kilometers a day or 60 kilometers a day, so much of that driving can be done on pure electric power. And you're just going to get a lot of real world fuel efficiency. Somebody says, when is the Ionic 5 coming to dealers? I don't have an exact date. They did push it back a little bit. We will keep you updated here. Obviously, when that vehicle comes, we're going to cover it in more detail than anybody. So yeah, just be patient. 2022 is a really tough year to predict when anything's coming to dealers. There's such a supply chain issue, chip issues, all kinds of things. And launching a new vehicle is very difficult because you kind of have to make sure that when you launch the vehicle, every dealer that you want to have that vehicle has it available to them. You can't just launch a vehicle with, 20 new vehicles with 400 dealers, right? So you have to make sure you've got all those vehicles ready to go and have an initial thing. So there we go. Will an 18-inch rim fit? Well, I think these are 19s. What are these here? Let me just check. These are 19s. I don't know if an 18-inch rim will fit, only because the rear brakes are larger here than on the gasoline model. Eyeballing it, I would say they would, just by looking at the brakes, but there is some extra brake piece sizing in there where you can't downsize a whole lot, but I think an 18 would fit if you're talking about downsizing for snow tires or winter tires. So there we go. We're 3 likes away from 70, guys. We're going to leave it there. If anybody has a like left to leave, feel free to leave it right now. We're going to leave it there. Tomorrow we'll be back. Haven't decided fully what we're doing tomorrow. It will be a Kia, I think. And we'll come back and do this again every single weekday. So I want to thank everyone for watching and have a great evening. We'll talk to you.